Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome to Steelers Almighty. This is our All-22 review of the Steelers' 28-14 lopsided playoff loss to the Baltimore Ravens that ended our season. Look, I've said it on multiple podcasts already. I thought the game was over, and we all knew the game was over after the first half. So most of the plays that we're covering here is when the game was actually being decided. 21-0 at halftime. It was ugly. So we're going to cover everything and give you a breakdown of some of the stuff that we see Russ doing and coinciding with the offensive line. Because, again, there's been a lot of back and forth on, well, it wasn't Russ's fault. It was the offensive line. It was the offensive line's fault. It was Russ's fault, or the receivers aren't going to get open. We're going to show you a multitude of aspects of that in this all-22 breakdown. So appreciate everybody being in here. Thank you. So without further ado, man, let's get to it. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, continue to hit those comments, and always hit the notification bell so you know exactly when Steelers Almighty content comes out. Also, make sure you sign up as far as memberships. We got a ton coming for you in the offseason, man. So we are literally just getting started. So let's get this thing going. First play here, we are 3rd and 1, Pitt 29. Steelers are in 13 personnel. Read option. Justin Fields in the game early for the Steelers. It's a read option. Now, last week, a lot of people said, on the 3rd and 1 that the Steelers had, that Russell Wilson, or that 4th and 1 play, should have brought in Justin Fields for that. I agree, because they handed off to Jalen Warren and the backside end comes crashing down. The difference is that they weren't in the shotgun in that. If you bring in Justin Fields, you get in the shotgun, you can run the exact same up the middle dive read option. The only difference is that backside end is not going to crash down because Justin Fields is there. Looky what happens here. The exact same situation, and that backside end does not come crashing down because he can't. And it isn't like that Baltimore doesn't have a bunch of guys right at the line of scrimmage. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 right there. And if you want to count number 29, he's within 7 yards of the line of scrimmage. So they got a ton of guys at the line of scrimmage. The only difference is Fields is back there, and they have to respect him. They have to. You're on the motion across. They don't even go with him. That's how you know how much they respect him, is because the Steelers try to force and get somebody to run to the other side, and Baltimore is hip to the game. They're like, nope, we're not going. Because if we do, and they run this read option, there's not going to be anybody there. So Humphrey doesn't even go. That's how much they had to respect Fields. And lo and behold, they stay outside, and Warren's got 4 yards. And that's the difference, people. That's kind of what Justin Fields brings to you, his package in this game. We get good movement up front. Zach Frazier didn't get a ton of movement, but he stays on his man. This Isaac Siamala, this was not one of his better games. They don't get any movement on this double team. I mean, none. This is Warren just running hard downhill and fighting for yards. This is was Isaac's worst game this season because he was terrible in pass protection. He was terrible run blocking. They get him, and Dan Moore don't get any movement here. Dan Moore ends up finishing the play, but it's a hard run. That's a good play by the Steelers. Started off, I'm thinking, okay, little read option. We got something going here. Steelers are trying to get something moving here. Next up, 3rd and 6, Pitt 37. We're in 11 personnel. This is a coverage sack. Nobody literally is open here. I know people want to say, well, we're going to blame Russ. We're going to blame the offensive line. I'll show you exactly what's going on here because I think the line does the best they can considering what's going on. But this is a coverage sack. They're in man. You saw Warren come in. Roquan Smith goes with them. They're in man coverage. Get to the top of the drop, okay, and you freeze it. The only thing that you could possibly say is Pickens going across the middle. You could say, okay, maybe he's open. You hit him and see if he can make a guy miss. That's the only person that I could say, yeah, you got to throw the ball to, because you see Warren starting to come out of the backfield. Roquan Smith is right there. He's going to meet him. That's not going to end well. So not going to get a first down. If you give Pickens a chance, which I say, okay, you can give him a chance, throw him the football. But look at the top of the screen. Nobody else is open. You play it a little bit. Stop route at the top, covered. Down the middle, covered. Crosser over the middle, covered. Again, the only person is the shallow cross with Pickens. You can say, give him a chance. And that's probably where he should go. But Russ comes off of that so quick, which, again, I'm not sure why. This is your best offensive weapon. Force feed him the football if you have to. But he comes off of him. Nobody open. And technically, it's not a sack. It's a 2-yard gain. But the line does a pretty good job. Look at it from the end zone view. And we'll stop it again at the top of the drop and see where Russ is looking. There's man coverage. Warren comes in. Roquan comes with him. See, at the top of the drop where Russ is, I think you got to throw the ball to Pickens right there. I know the guys are running right with him, but that's your best offensive weapon. Throw him the ball and see if he can make a play. See if he can make a guy miss. Give him a chance. But you see the line's in good position. They got guys blocked. There's no pressure. But Freiermuth, you see in the screen right there, he's covered. And I showed you the sideline view. Everybody was covered. Again, Russ comes off of Pickens as he goes across his face. He comes off of him so fast. I just don't understand that. Give him a chance. But he doesn't. And then he tries to come back late, and it's too late. But the line, again, the line's doing a good job. They're blocked. These guys are blocked, man. In the NFL, that's an eternity to throw the football. Now, you see Isaac get beat late because Isaac, again, he's gotten into this habit, and I'll show you more evidence of dropping his outside leg, his left leg, and letting guys turn the corner on him. And that's exactly what happens again here. But Russ gets out too late, not athletic like he used to be, can't get away. We're 2 yards short on this play. Baltimore wins, but I still believe, like I said, nobody's open, but give Pickens a chance because, he's in front. I know there's a guy right there, but he's your best playmaker. Give him a chance. Throw him the ball. See if he can make a play. All right. So the next play here, it's 1st and 10 from Pitt 30. We're in 11 personnel, but it's tricky 11 personnel. It's a run 11 personnel. It's a run package because Van Jefferson, run blocker. Ben Skoranek, run blocker. Now, Calvin Austin, not necessarily, but the Steelers are trying to outthink and outsmart people on this play because they're saying, okay, we're in 11 personnel, but this is a run-heavy personnel package. We like to run the football because Skoranek is basically like an extra tight end, and we know Van Jefferson does yeoman's work trying to dig out safeties, blocking on run plays. But we got Calvin Austin out wide. But to me, when I saw this play happen, this is the flea flicker, people. It screamed desperation. We're only down 7-0. Okay? We've had the ball. We had a little bit of success, but we're already going to the flea flicker? I'm like, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. We're down 7-0. It's the second time we've had the football. You're saying, okay, we got to try to trick them to move the ball? No. It screamed desperation, and it absolutely does not work. We get the flea flicker. Again, the offensive line is fine. O-line doing a good job. But the people out on this route, there is nobody open. I mean, Calvin Austin is not open. I know you might see when he gets the ball back, Russ gets the ball back. If you stop it, Calvin Austin's running a post. There's a safety right there. He's going to run right into him. At the top of the screen, Van Jefferson covered. Bottom of the screen, Skoranek covered. Like, there's nobody open. So I think Russ is trying to throw the ball to the top and throw it to Van Jefferson, but he can't. He has to hold it because Warren doesn't get over there in time to pick up Humphrey, who's blitzing off the edge. He has to hold it, and then he gets sacked. Let's go to the end zone view. I mean, and you can even see pre-snap is that Baltimore's thinking, yeah, they're going to run it because they got, 8 guys in the box. You see Kyle Hamilton creeping down in there. They call it coverage. He goes with Jefferson. It's like, okay, but look at the line. They got him blocked. The line is fine here, but it's Warren on the backside. Now, that's a tough block. Don't get me wrong. That's a tough block having to peel back and then go all the way outside after you've turned around, pitched the ball to the quarterback, and then you have to turn around again and find a guy to block, and you have to block him off the edge. That's difficult. That's difficult, to say the least. Sometimes the other team just wins, and Baltimore just wins here. I think Russ could have stepped up to help, but you see where Russ is looking. If you stop it right before you get ready to throw the ball initially, he's looking left to throw it to Van Jefferson. But he doesn't because he's getting hit, and he holds it, and then he gets sacked. But that's not on the offensive line. The offensive line have their men blocked. I mean, this is not on them at all. They do their job. That ball should have been out. I don't blame Russ for not throwing it because I think he's thinking if I throw it, it's going to get hit. It's going to be a fumble. Sometimes, like I said, the defense just wins. But not to mention, nobody is open. Nobody open. Now, this one, we're 3rd and 7 at the Pittsburgh 33. It's 11 personnel. He throws this one to Muth. This is a bad read by Russ. Pickens is the guy that you have to throw the ball to. Again, Pickens had 5 targets in this football game. Do or die football game. And you can say, well, Arthur Smith got to devise some plays to be able to go to Pickens. Well, he does that here. He literally does that here. Russ has to throw him the ball. And he's looking that way. He gets a snap. Again, the sideline view. He gets to the top of the drop. You see Freiermuth running an out route. And I'm not saying Freiermuth's not open. He is. But he's not even at the sticks. But look at Pickens is just inside. He's on the hash, and he's about to break. That's where the ball needs to go. You play it just a little bit further, that's where the ball should have went. Pickens is open. He's wide open. Not just open. George Pickens is wide open. You have to throw him the ball. You have to. Instead, he doesn't. He throws it to Freiermuth. And Freiermuth, as we see, does not make a play to get the first down. So, now again, the offensive line here is pretty good, except for Isaac. Isaac, like I mentioned before, man, I don't want to just bash on him, but this was his worst game this season. He gets one-on-one blocked. But again, when the contact comes to Isaac, look at his left leg. He's done this like the last 4 or 5 weeks. Had a bad habit of just dropping his outside leg when pressure comes. Because what he's trying to do, okay, if that guy's going to attack my outside shoulder, I'm just going to push him wide. Well, you get guys that are really strong, and not only strong, but savvy. They see that. I mean, these guys study film too. Okay, great. You drop your outside leg. I'm immediately going to snatch and pull and come inside. And look what happens to Isaac. Whew. It's what happens, man. And this is not some big-time pass rusher either. I mean, Travis Jones is not – he's a run stuffer. He is not somebody that you think, oh, man, this guy, he's just a dominant pass rusher. No, he isn't. Isaac is better than this. But you get into bad habits, and this is what happens. He drops that outside leg thinking, I'm just going to push him out. I've said it over and over again. Guards can't do that. Guards have to slide their feet from side to side. You're not a tackle. You can't just drop your outside leg and try to push guys past, because when you do, and you get, again, savvy, not a great pass rusher, but smart. I watch film, and I'm super strong. This is what happens to you. Now, everybody else is pretty solid, as far as pass protection here. Pretty solid. Broderick Jones, They do, that's a decent job with the twist, but it's a good thing that they're sliding to the right on this one. But Anderson is really weak on his initial punch. Look at his hands. You can see he's weak. His arms are bent. And I'm like, come on, man. You got to extend. You got to sit and press and extend. But you see his outside leg too. I'm like, maybe they're being taught that. I don't know. But that is not how you block as an offensive guard at any level, much less the National Football League. When you start dropping your outside leg, you open yourself up to twist, because what if the line's sliding the other direction and Zach Frazier is going left? This is a sack because Van Noy's coming in there unabated. You can't do that. You just can't. Dan Moore does a good job here, and Broderick gets back and fights, but he's like, man, you opened up, Anderson. So, but they do enough. And sometimes in the National Football League, doing enough is all you need, but finish the play. Pickens is open. The ball has to go to him there. It has to go to him there. This is a bad read by Russ. Okay. Next one, 2nd and 10, Pitt 42. And again, most of these plays that I'm showing you guys are when the game was being decided in the first half. I'll show a couple in the second half, but that game was over by then. So 2nd and 10, Pitt 42. We're in 11 personnel. Okay. This is the play that's going viral on the internet. Let's just go to the end zone view immediately. I've never seen, and again, I've watched football. I've been watching tape on football, played football for a long time. I've never seen a play where both tackles pull. Never seen it. Not even on accident, I've never seen it. Not even in Pee Wee football have both tackles pulled on accident. And Broderick is the one that's wrong here, people. And I think he realizes it as soon as he comes out of his stance, because at no time are you pulling to block an end man on the line of scrimmage and you're shuffling. At no time. And that's what Broderick does. Look at Broderick on this play, and he shuffles all the way across, and he's like, oops. And he immediately turns around once he gets down there and turns around like, holy shit, what am I doing? Now, and you look at the rest of the line, look at the inside, Anderson, Frazier, Siamalu, even Freiermuth. They're trying to keep people from crossing their face and get to the right side. That's how they're blocking. And to be honest with you, now, I don't know if Dan Moore makes this block, but if Broderick were to come down and they double team here and they get to Roquan on the front side backer, I think the Steelers got to play here. But because he goes the other way, nobody is blocking Roquan. Now, Dan Moore also, when he comes across, he blocks nobody. And I get it. Maybe he's like, holy shit, what the hell is Broderick doing here? I don't know. But I know he sees his man, outside backer, standing there, and he doesn't even get a hand on him. He sees him, and he doesn't touch him. I'm like, come on. You have to be more athletic than that. Now, the one thing that I can tell you, Broderick, if that's Broderick Jones makes that tackle. And I know what some of you are going to say. The best thing that Broderick Jones does is out in space, because he's ultra athletic to be that big. You get him out in space, he'll make that block. He's doing it on the line of scrimmage. He's doing it. Dan Moore, not doing it, and you see it here. Doesn't even touch him. But yeah, two tackles crossing in the night, trying to block. Oh my goodness. Again, here's a time we've got a good play called. People are going to get on Arthur Smith. Again, if the execution is there, this is a good play call. And you can't say, well, if they can't execute the play, then they shouldn't call it. Do you really think one time in practice, one time that both tackles pulled, do you believe that? No. Again, you can't always blame coaching. I'm not saying that coaching doesn't deserve, a handful of blame, but you can't always blame coaching. You just can't. And this would be one of those times where you just can't blame coaching. Like I said, never seen two tackles pull on the same play, crossing each other in the backfield. I've literally never seen that. Even said, At least we get more yards if Dan Moore just puts a hand on his guy. Just puts a hand on him. He doesn't do it. It's a 2-yard gain. Ugly. Now, this one, I thought, okay, Steelers are going to get back into the football game. We're going down the field. It's 3rd and 8, Pitt 44. We still haven't crossed midfield yet. We're down 14-0. We're in 11 personnel. And this is a great read by Russ. Excellent read. You know, you got bunch set at the top, Freiermuth at the bottom, and great read. Great read. Great routes by everybody, but you give your playmaker a chance. And he gives Pickens a chance. Pickens got to be less subtle, or got to be more subtle with the offensive PI. He has to be. He has to. You can't stick 2 hands on the guy and push him right in front of the ref, right out for everybody to see. You can use your body, maybe shield him off a little bit, stack the defender and make the catch, but you can't put 2 hands on him, shove him to make the catch. Even though it was late, you can't do it. You can't. They're going to call it. I shouldn't say every time because we know officials have been so inconsistent with that. But having said all of that, in a playoff game, these are supposed to be the best refs. They're going to see it. Everybody saw it. It was offensive pass interference. We all know it. You just got to be more subtle. Not saying you can't do it. You got to be more subtle with it. And maybe he has to do it. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know, but you just can't do that. But it was still a great ball. It was a great catch. And I thought the Steelers were going to be in business, but they're not. The line does a pretty good job here. So Moore gets beat late. And to me, I think this is a coaching thing. When you see the offensive line, it's almost like the offensive line blocks until they think that the play is over with versus blocking to the whistle. I almost think it's like coaching isn't coaching. They're not coaching them to finish blocks in the passing game. You see Broderick doing it all the time. You see both him and Dan Moore doing it all the time. It's like, yeah, we're going to block until we think that the play is over, and then we're just going to stop. And then so many times guys come around the corner, they make a sack. They don't block to the whistle and pass plays. I'm like, come on, man, you can't do that. You got to finish blocks. You got to finish blocks. And while he does enough here, I'll give him credit. He does enough. It's close, late. But again, we've said it by Dan Moore all season long. Look at the weak punch. He just sticks his arm out and grabs. That's not punching a guy in his chest, and the inside arm is weak. Now, he probably thought, okay, maybe I'm going to get a chip here by Warren, and he doesn't get one. Like, Warren doesn't do anything. Either way, everybody else does well. Broderick does well. Again, that's a great read, but you can't push off like that. It's a great read by Russ. Even better pass by Russ, but you just can't do it. All right, so first play of the second half, they downed us at the 2-yard line, so it's 1st and 10 from the Pittsburgh 2. This is where having a fullback on your roster helps. Like, first of all, we're not even acting like we're going to play power football, which we've seen Hayward do that before. He's not a fullback, though. He's an H-back. He's not a fullback. He's not a lead blocker. If the Ravens can do it, I don't understand why the Steelers can't do it. But we don't have a fullback. But this is where you would need one. You see the initial line. I mean, the Ravens are like, well, yeah, we're just going to put 7 guys in the box. Like, they don't load up. When the Steelers come out in this, and they're in 13 personnel, so they got 3 tight ends out there, the Ravens don't care. And they're like, well, they're not going to play big boy football because they don't even have a fullback, so we'll just line up with 7 in the box. And across the board, there's no leg drive. Starting with Darnell Washington. He's trying to position block, gets driven in the backfield. Then you go, because Dan Moore has hurt his ankle, so he's out. You look at him and at Isaac. Look at the initial punch right there. You stop it. Look at Isaac. Isaac's trying to position block on a double team. You can't do that in the National Football League. If they're being taught that, That is horrendous. Pat Meyer should be fired. I think we all think he should be fired anyway, but that is horrendous trying to position block, especially down on the goal line. Even if you don't block and get off to your linebacker, get movement on the double team. I've been screaming about that all year. Your first thing and responsibility is movement on the double team. You can't do that by position blocking, and that's what Isaac does. He doesn't drive his feet, and they don't get any movement. And then Anderson tries to come off late. Najee bounces it, but he can't bounce because Darnell Washington's standing in the backfield because, again, he's trying to position block. You even go to the front side. Zach Frazier and Spencer Anderson, same thing. Neither one of them bring their feet. You see them leaning on the guy. Well, you're going to lean on the guy. You're not going to move him. Those guys are good too. So you can lean on me all you want. I'll just stand here. A linebacker comes down. They get no movement. Like, I'm not sure how you thought you were going to get movement on this play, but you didn't. And this is the result, a 1-yard gain. But again, I'll say this again. Put a fullback. If you're going to be a power running team, which the Steelers try to be a lot, then have a fullback. Not an H-back that you try to make into a fullback from time to time. Just put a fullback on the roster. I don't think there would have been any difference for the Steelers if Jack Colletto would have been on this roster versus a fourth tight end. I don't think there's any difference. But yet, here we are, a play we need one. And we've seen it down on the goal line going into the end zone plenty of times where we don't have a fullback leading the way. Again, Derrick Henry uses a fullback. If he can use a fullback, the Steelers can use a fullback. That's all I'm going to say. But there's zero leg drive by any offensive lineman here. And this is the result. So, ugly first play. And maybe this is partly the Steelers had quit and are like, gee, many Christmas. So, any life that we're going to have, this is the first play. We got to start out the second half down 21-0 on our 2-yard line. Okay. And maybe that crept into their mind, but it was an ugly play. Okay. Next up, 3rd and 9 from the Pittsburgh 3. We haven't been able to do anything. It's still the first drive of the second half. 11 personnel. Look, this is a good read by Russ here. I'm not sure on the pump fake, but whatever. He gets the ball out. It's good placement to Austin over the middle of the field. It's exactly where you want it. Over the linebacker. It's in cover 2. Over the linebackers in front of the safety. The pump fake, I think, gets Calvin Austin lit up, but he hangs on. It's still a good ball. Still a good ball. So you go to the end zone view, and the line is phenomenal here. They put up a wall. Looks like everybody's coming on the blitz. They put everybody on the line of scrimmage at the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, on the guys covering Austin, and then you got Kyle Hamilton late. So people are on the line of scrimmage. People bail out. They bring Humphrey on the backside. Warren does a great job, comes over. And that's why I'm saying he pump fakes. And I'm not sure he has to. He could have just stepped up and thrown it. But either way, it's still a good ball. Right where you need it to be. Over the linebackers, in front of the safety. I think the pump fake, like I said, gets Austin lit up even more. But doesn't matter. He hangs on to the football. It's a great read. It's a great ball. You look at the offensive line. Look at the wall that they formed. There is zero pressure. Outside, Warren takes care of his guy, but there is nothing in the middle there. They have formed a wall. It's a good play. Get out of our own territory. A little bit of life. A little bit of life from the Steelers there. Now, 3rd and 10 on the Baltimore 30. We finally crossed into Baltimore territory. We're in 11 personnel. Again, this is another good read by Russ. You stop it at the top of the drop. This is the absolute play here. You see, now I don't want to hear Baltimore saying, well, it was a busted coverage, and maybe it was in quarters coverage because you see at the top, that corner's bailing. You see where there's a safety, the 2 in the middle, and maybe it was supposed to be quarters coverage. I don't care. Van Jefferson runs past him. and it's a good touchdown. Like I said, it probably is a busted coverage by Baltimore just by the alignment. All the corner's bailing out at the top of the screen. At the bottom, he is not. I think he's expecting safety help because he's just backpedaling. Well, you're in quarters coverage, 3rd and 10. You're not going to be backpedaling. You're going to be in a retreat, and that's not what he's doing. This is a good read by Russ. He's like, you know what? I'm going to give it a chance here because I see where Hamilton is. I see he's not going to be able to get to where I'm throwing this football. And you could say maybe across the middle. I don't buy that. I like the read that Russ makes here. It's a good ball. Touchdown Steelers. A little bit of life. Let's go to the end zone view. The offensive line. We're cooking. We're cooking here. The offensive line. No leakage. No leakage. They're cooking. Like I mentioned before, the run game, line was pathetic. Passing game, line was pretty good. Line was pretty good. So, but again, by this time, it's 21-0. Who knows? But they found a little bit of life. But there's no leakage on this play by the offensive line. That's a good play by them. Good ball by Russ. Good catch by Jefferson. Good route. Little life by the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right. And then last play, 2nd and 9, Baltimore 36. It's 12 personnel. 36-yard pass here to George Pickens. Sideline view. Again, we're going to stop it at the top of the drop. This is all we've been asking for. Give Pickens an opportunity. Just, it's him and somebody, whatever. Force him the football. How George Pickens catches this ball, stays in bounds, and sees the safety and avoids them all at the same time, I have no clue. This is cover 2. This is a kill shot. Now, I would say if in old rules, George Pickens might still be in the hospital. I'll say that. You throw a moon ball in cover 2 like that on the sideline, with the old rules, George Pickens might very well still be in the hospital. Having said all of that, these are not the old rules. And how he avoids it, I don't know. But this is an excellent throw by Russ, the read that we want. Give your playmaker an opportunity, and he makes a play. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. You go back to the end zone view here. The offensive line, not as great here. Calvin Austin has a weak inside hand. He's kind of in position. Well, he is in position. But he sticks his left hand out and kind of lunges. And if you lunge, he gets behind. He doesn't have a strong inside hand, so there's no punch. And he's holding on for dear life. Van Noy turns the corner on him. But Isaac is there. But he's falling down, so he does enough. But that's not a good rep. But he's our backup left tackle. Now, you go over and look at the rest of the line. Spencer Anderson, again, at right guard. He's good initially, but he starts lunging. He's trying to lean. And when you lean, versus sitting down, getting down, bending your hips, and sliding your feet, he starts lunging. And he's trying to just push on the guy. And as soon as you do that, again, crafty guy, you get ragdolled. Now, it's enough. Don't get me wrong. It's enough because all that happens late. But again, I mentioned before, you're not going against a world beater and a pass rusher. This is a run stuffer that happens to be in on a pass play. But Frazier's really good here. Broderick is good here. And that's a good throw by Russell Wilson. That's a good throw. That's a good catch. Unbelievable play by George Pickens. Unbelievable play by Pickens. So, well, I appreciate everybody, man. Thank you guys again, as always. We appreciate you being in here. We're going to have a lot more stuff for you guys in the off season. We're literally just getting started. We're going to get savvy and creative on the stuff that we're going to bring to you guys. We're going to do a lot more live coverage, so make sure you guys tune in. So if you have not subscribed, make sure that you do. because there's going to be a ton of content that comes out during the off season. While it's the off season and the Steelers aren't playing football games, that doesn't mean that Steelers Almighty is just sitting on our hands waiting for the season to come around. We actually are more excited about bringing content in the off season than we were during the season. So that's how dedicated we are to this channel. So make sure you guys tune in as you always do, still getting those comment sections. And remember, memberships are now available. So make sure that you go sign up. We got 5 different tiers. The higher you go, the more content you get. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you and aloha.